All right, let's jump right in. We are going to break down one of the most crucial and honestly, one of the most misunderstood documents in all of business, the cash flow statement. And I promise you, by the time we're done here, you'll see it's way less intimidating than it sounds. But first, let me ask you a question. It's a real head scratcher. How on earth can a company look amazing on paper? I mean, reporting huge profits, sales are through the roof, and then suddenly, poof, they go bankrupt. It just doesn't make sense, does it? Well, the secret, the whole answer to that puzzle, isn't about the money they're supposed to have. It's about the money they actually have in the bank. It all comes down to one thing: cash. And that brings us to the single biggest idea we need to get our heads around today. Profit is not the same thing as cash. Seriously, what a company says it earned is completely different from the actual money it has on hand to spend. So, what is cash flow then? The easiest way to picture it is to think of a big water tank. Cash flow is just the water moving in and the water moving out. That's it. Money comes in, money goes out. A cash flow statement, it's just a way of keeping score. And here's why this is so important. When your landlord comes knocking or it's time to pay your team, you can't just show them a report and say, hey, look, we're profitable. Nope. You have to pay them with cold, hard cash. Profit is an accounting concept. Cash is what keeps the lights on. Okay, to make this all super clear, let's forget all the confusing corporate jargon for a minute. We're just going to tell a simple story. A story about a business that everybody, and I mean everybody, can understand. That's right. We are getting into the lemonade business. Let's just imagine for a second that it's your lemonade stand. You're out there on the corner, you've got your pitcher, you've got your cups, and you're ready to make some money. This little stand is our entire company for the next few minutes. So, let's say you open up shop with a crisp $20 bill in your little cash box. That's your starting point. It's the cash you have on hand before you sell a single drop of lemonade. And wow, business is booming. The day goes great and you sell a ton of lemonade. Customers hand you $50 in cash. That's your cash inflow. That's the water pouring right into your tank. But of course, you had to spend money to make money, right? You ran to the store earlier and spent $30 on lemons, sugar, and cups. That's your cash outflow. That's the water draining out of the tank. So let's do the super simple math here. $50 came in from sales and $30 went out for supplies. That means you ended up with $20 more than you started with, just from running the business. That's your net cash from sales. And what's the final tally? Well, you started with 20 and you just added another 20. You now have $40 in your cash box. And that's it. You've just done a cash flow statement without even realizing it. Okay, now for the magic trick. That little story we just walked through, that lemonade stand, that is the exact same logic that huge billion-dollar companies use. The numbers are obviously a lot bigger, but the idea is exactly the same. So let's see how our simple story fits into the real deal. See, a real official cash flow statement just takes our lemonade story and sorts everything into three neat little buckets. It just organizes the story to make it easier for people to read and understand what's really going on. And these three buckets tell the entire story of the business's cash. First up, you've got operating activities. This is just cash from your main day-to-day business. For us, that's the $20 from selling lemonade. You want this number to be positive. It means your core business is healthy. Next, investing activities. This is money spent on big-ticket items to grow the business, like buying a fancy new table for $10. And here's a fun twist. A negative number here is often a good thing. It means you're putting money back into the business to make it better. Finally, we have financing activities. This is all about borrowing and repaying money. Think of that $10 loan you got from your friend to get started. This part of the statement shows us how the company is getting the fuel for its engine. So, when you put it all together, you get $20 from operating, you spend $10 on investing, and you bring in $10 from financing. The grand total? A net cash flow of $20. It's the same result we got before, just organized in a way that tells a much richer story. So let's boil this all down. After everything we've talked about, what's the one thing you really truly need to walk away with? Why does any of this matter to you? Well, it all goes back to that water tank. The cash flow statement is basically the dipstick you use to check the water level. It tells you point blank if there's enough cash, enough water in that tank to survive, to pay the bills, and maybe most importantly, to grow. So really, it's a simple three-step dance. Step 1, just track the money coming in and going out. Step 2, sort all that movement into our three buckets: operating, investing, and financing. And step 3, the big goal is to keep that overall flow positive. A business with positive cash flow is a business that's breathing.
There's this great saying that sums it all up perfectly. Profit is an opinion, cash is a fact. Profit can be fuzzy, it can depend on accounting rules, but the amount of actual money sitting in your bank account, that's real. That's a fact. And that's what matters.
So, next time you look at a company, or even just think about your own personal budget or side project, I want you to ask yourself this one question. What story is the cash flow really telling me? Because if you look past the headlines about profit, that's where you'll find the truth.